We have Stacey Macaluso back, and I know she's going to tell you where she is right now, but I think it's really cool. And we're so grateful because she's actually celebrating her anniversary and she still came to hang out with us. So either she's just crazy or she just likes us that much, but we're glad she's back. She's been working with the Parkinson's community for over 10 years. She led the Parkinson's Connection at the CATS JCC in Cherry Hill, New Jersey from 2017 to 2022. She started and developed the program to be one of the largest programs on the East Coast for people with Parkinson's. As coordinator and coach, Stacey received many awards for her work. She was recognized as SJ Magazine Women of Excellence in 2020, being named Game Changer in South Jersey for bringing wellness programming to the local area for the Parkinson's community. In 2020, she was a nominee for the Rocksteady Boxing Coach of the Year Award. She was also awarded the CATS JCC People's Choice Award in 2021, honoring her for her contributions and work with the Parkinson's community. Stacey accepted a position as a Davis Finney Foundation ambassador, providing support and resources to the Parkinson's community throughout the tri-state area and beyond. She has since founded Mission PD, where she is a life coach and fitness specialist virtually for people all over the world, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about Mission PD. She's teaching Rocksteady Boxing, pedaling for Parkinson's, power moves, and dance for PD. She has also practiced as a dental hygienist for 3 decades in the South Jersey community. So as we can see, Stacey does not spend her weekends watching SportsCenter. Stacey lives in New Jersey with her husband Michael of 32 plus years, where they raised their children, Adrian, Michael, and Abigail. Stacey, thanks so much for being here today.
You're welcome. I'm so glad to be back. 2 days goes by very quick, doesn't it? So I'm glad to be back. I wanted to go over and just kind of review if you weren't here on Tuesday, and I want to make sure the light behind me. As I said, I'm in a hotel room. Is that better?
Yeah.
And I wanted to share with you a little bit about what we talked about on Tuesday as saying that exercise is medicine. And when you travel, you take your medicine with you. So I wanted to show you how easy it is that when you go away or when you travel or when you're not at home, how important it is to still get your movement in. And the program that I'm going to really focus on today, Power Moves or Parkinson's Wellness Recovery, is one of the ones that I really think is the easiest to take with you. And when you're feeling stiff or tired or unbalanced or feeling like you're having more freezing episodes or you're just not moving the way you want to, it's a great thing to pull out of your pocket just for a few minutes to do and then see if that helps that movement quality to improve. So I just wanted to do a shout out to Joan and Chris, who I know pretty well. Hi guys, so glad to see you here. And Richard, you're in New York City. That's where I am too. So I don't know where you are, but I can feel your energy close by. So I'm glad to have you guys here too. And those of you that are not in New York or not on the East Coast or not in the area or close to where I am, this is where we can come together on a Zoom call. And even though it's in a virtual setting, many people prefer an in-person setting because it's much more personalized. It's still important on the daily basis to do something, whether it's at home, by yourself, or if you need motivation and accountability with a trainer or an appointment. So creating this virtual platform and founding Mission PD for me was a way to bring information, resources, education, exercise in real life time to people in their homes who maybe weren't going out for the day. Maybe you have somebody coming to fix your appliance, or you went out yesterday and today you're not going out. So we have to figure out ways to bring it to us. So we can access the free education, information, and resources in great places like this, or on my platform, And I'm sure that you guys know many other resources and organizations that can bring you those types of resources to your house. So with Mission PD, I created this about 2 years ago, and it's a private platform with fitness experts to give you real life feedback. So during your exercise, you'll be able to hear that feedback or that encouragement or a small correction. So I wanted you to realize that even though we're in virtual, we do have the accessibility to be able to see you on the screen. The other day we talked a little bit about motivation, because motivation is a big factor in how much we move and how much we do every day. We also hear a lot of times that we have to do high intensity, or we need to do a certain amount of time of exercise, or it's not going to be effective. I've read research studies that show that even 5 minutes of pushing yourself in a hard type of exercise is beneficial to changing your brain. So remember, the littlest bit is better than nothing at all. And the more that you do, even that little bit will increase over time, and you'll be able to do a little more and a little more and a little more, because it'll improve your stamina. All right. Just reviewing a couple things we talked about on Tuesday. Choose a movement activity that you enjoy. If somebody's told you that you have to do something because it's the best thing for you and you don't enjoy it, those negative thoughts and feelings that you're having while you're doing it aren't really going to bring you that excitement, happiness to want to continue doing it. So find something that you enjoy and that makes you feel better after it's done. So if you do something and you don't love it, or if you do something and you're enjoying it and you don't feel well after, maybe you're exhausted, you don't have enough energy, it bothers your shoulder, it bothers your neck, or some sort of previous injury that you have. Maybe we need to just figure out and look for a different type of fitness or exercise that's good for you, or maybe have you be working with a physical therapist to see if you have an injury or a weakness somewhere that we can improve over time, so that that fitness program will be okay, will feel good. Looking for ways to also have discipline and having that motivation. We have to figure out which is going to come first. So are we going to have motivation first and feel really excited about doing something when we don't feel great or when we're tired? Or are we going to try to have discipline to push us through that feeling and eventually get some results that lead us to that motivation because we're feeling better? Sometimes when we're not feeling great or motivated, we have to look for that discipline, that structure that helps us to stay within the boundaries of healthy activity and lifestyle. And it's not always easy to make that choice when we're not feeling so great. So look for the discipline, something in your life that you know that you had discipline in before, whether it was your career, your commitment to family, a commitment to a certain activity that you did, a sport or a craft or something that really you enjoyed, a passion, and try to remember what it was like to have a discipline to doing that, how you fit it in, how you made it be a part of your routine because it was important to you. Make this that important and try to fit it in somewhere. And if it's something that you enjoy, it'll fit in easier, like a piece of a puzzle. Does that make sense? All right. So please ask questions at any time. I don't want you to feel like this is just me chatting at you. We're going to do some movement. We're going to start to move. Part of when you're feeling stiff and unbalanced or having symptoms that are making you not feel well, the best thing to really do most of the time is move a little bit, because that movement is going to make you feel better. So I thought about, the foundations of movement. And we have a lot of programs that are really great for people with Parkinson's now, and there's a lot of recommendations. To me, physical therapy or physical therapy-based programs are programs that have a foundation in the foundation of movement, where movement comes from, the directions that we need to go in, the posture we're trying to attain or maintain. And most of the times through physical therapy, we can get a more balanced body, and then our fitness programs become even more effective, and we're able to complete them better with better form. So before we get moving and before we take off on another tangent, I want to just open the floor for some questions. Anybody have anything that came up from Tuesday or anything like that? We can put it into the chat box, or we can just let's get to it, like Cherry Tuck said. Should we just get to it? All right, let's get to it. All right. All right, so my chair in this room has wheels on it. Not the best chair for me to do exercise in. So this one's gonna move to the side, and I'm gonna pull this one out from the wall. And this is a giant chair. I have to think about this before I sit down in it. I'm smaller, I'm about 5 foot, and if I sit in this chair when my knees fall over the edge, they basically it doesn't let my back touch the back of the seat. And that's okay, because I want my feet on the floor. So I have to really understand the chair I'm in. So find your position in your chair. We're gonna start from a seated position today. We're gonna start with our power moves from a power up position, okay? We have 4 movements we're gonna do. We're gonna do power up, power rock, power twist, and power step. We're going to do it all from a seated position, and then we're going to convert it to a standing position. Find your position on your seat. Lift the chest up, shoulders back. First thing we're going to do is warm up so that our movements are big ranged motions. Reach the arms forward and open and close the hands. Just to activate the hands, the fingers. Spread the fingers apart. Open them real wide for me. It's almost like you're dropping something very hot to the floor. All right, let's do 2 more. And 1. Now, can you stretch your arms out a little further? If they feel like this, like heavy, see if you can stretch them out longer. If it's too high, bring them lower, but further away. Turn your palms up and down. Now, I want to give you the option as well, if you're seated and you're not comfortable because you need to stand, stand. If you're standing and you're not comfortable because you need to sit, sit. Turn the left palm up, right palm down. Now switch, and switch, and switch, and switch. Good, give me 4 more, and 3, and 2, and 1. Turn both palms down. And let's pull the elbows back. So we have a nice big stretch across the chest, and squeeze your elbows into the middle of your upper back so you get a contraction in your shoulders. Good, feel the back shoulder blades pull together. 2 more. And last one, reach your arms out. If you have any shoulder issues, don't reach your arms above your head or take them to the level that you can. Stretch your arms up high as you can, lengthened arms, and reach the arms right and left. And if you tended to drop your chin like this, lift your neck and your chin. Strengthen and lengthen the upper cervical spine by keeping the neck long and the chin away from your chest. 3 more, and 2. Last one, reach your arms all the way up, and we're going to come and fold forward. Hands are going to go to the knees. We're going to reach those arms all the way up again, and if that felt good, you can keep it there. If you can come all the way to the floor to get a deeper stretch in your back, you can do that. And bring your hands to your knees, and let's roll up, keeping your head down and letting it come up last as you peel your chin away from your chest. Good, so we worked on this range of motion, this down and up, not a lot yet. So let's rock a little bit because we're gonna do that power up move. All right, and power up is about an anti-gravity, bringing the position of your shoulders and your head over your rib cage and your hips. And this is what helps you to find the proper posture. Now again, I told you that my chair I don't have my back against the chair. If you have a tendency to not sit up all the way, and you can bring your back to the back of your chair, actually, I'm gonna stay back here just so that you can feel it, okay? See how my feet are on the floor? We're gonna come forward, and as you come back, your back is gonna touch the chair so that you know where your shoulders need to be to sit up tall. All right, let's do 10 of these and count backwards from 20 by twos. Nice loud voices. Ready? Here we go. Hands go to the knees. Down. And 20. 18. 16. Keep going. 14. Let me watch you. 12. Good. Nice, Marcia. 10. Lift up. Good. Awesome, Clyde. Bring those arms up. That's it. We've got 6. And 4. Can you bring your shoulders back a little bit more? And 2. And last 1. Hold here. Stretch out. Reach out to the left. Reach out to the right. Think about somebody stretching your arms like Gumby away from your body. And release it down. All right. Feel the length of the torso. Sit to the front edge of your seat if you need to. Hold on to your chair if you have to. Otherwise, hands can be on the knees. We're going to go into the power rock. If you rock side to side, I want you to feel the body tipping weight to the left and the right. Power rock is about weight transferring, which helps us with our balance. Good, awesome. Now, can you make it a little bit bigger? Some of you might be moving a little on the small side. You ever see a grandfather clock, how the arm just goes very, very slow and mild? Let's make it a little bigger. Like almost look over the side of your body, over the hip, over the hip. All right, we're looking down, but now I want you to look up. Look up. Look up to the corner. Look up to the other corner. And up. And come back to the center. Now, the real idea of this is to get your hip up and to work your knees too. So let's work our knees. Can you show me this? Because even though we're seated, we want our legs to be active. And bring them back to the center. All right, there's another movement here. Come down into the middle. Come up to the side. Reach and stretch up to the right. Now come back down to the middle. Come back up to the center. Shift and stretch up to the left. And look at how my knees are moving because my foot is pushing. Ready? Let's do it again. Slow. Down, up. Shift the weight onto the right hip. Come down again. Down, up. Shift the weight to the left hip. And come back. So when we do that shifting, we're using our feet. We're moving our feet. And you'll feel this more when we stand up if you're going to stand up with me today. If not, you're going to really remember this, okay? Let's do the rock. Ready? Here we go. Power rock to the right. So we down, lift, right. And down, up, left. And lower, lift, right. And lower, lift, left. Say it with me. Down, up, right. Down, up, left. Down, up, right. One more. Down, up, and left. And come back to the center. So why do we want to have this motion in it? I mean, we could just do this, right? This motion here gives us the momentum to have a little bit of a push off because we have that spring up action to make a move to the corner. So remember that there's timing. We don't want to skip anything. We want to bring every movement in so it has its own moment, right? So it's almost like a dance routine. If anybody knows dancing, we do 8 counts. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we put counts to it, we know exactly the movement that we need to do at the time of the count. All right, let's go on to the next one so that we have plenty of time to power up and questions. So the next one is power twist. We start with the arms out nice and wide. The rotation comes with the hip and the arm, and then we come back to the center. There's a break down and up, twist, open, and up, twist, open. Are you using your legs? Are you letting this left knee fall into the center? And lower, lift, twist, and open. One more, down and up, twist, and open. All right, we're gonna lose the down part with this, okay? And that's gonna make it a little more challenging because you're gonna have to make that rotation, and this is all about axial rotation or rotation and twisting in the torso, which helps loosen up and get you more flexible in the middle part of your body, help you move better and roll over and kind of get up out of bed, get out of the car, all those things. All right, so let's do the twist without the drop down. All right, and we'll come to, every time that we go to the left, I want you to say the name of a fruit. And every time you go to the right, you're gonna say the name of a vegetable. So it would look like this, ready? Plums, eggplant. Ready? This again. Peaches, peas. Right? Let's do it again. Apples, asparagus. Do it again. Blueberries, broccoli. One more time. Bananas, spinach, and open. Good. Did anybody feel that it was more difficult when you were trying to think? Were you more focused on the words rather than the movement, or the movement rather than the words, or was the movement making it complicated? It's okay. The more you practice, the more that word recognition and timing will match up, right? Because the practice is going to make perfect. Okay, same thing, sitting forward to your seat. Power step is about transitions. It's about movement from one place, usually the middle, to another space, usually right or left. And it's about movement on the same side of the body. And these transitions, again, help you get out of a car, moving into a different position into a room, going through doorways, and things like that. Also helps with your gait and the position of your feet. Now let's talk about feet. So let's take the left toe and move it out and in. Keep going, let me see. So you're going out and in, and out and in. I love your feedback, you guys. That's wonderful. We'll talk about it all, I promise. And out. And the most important thing is that we recognize the things that are hard for us. Because in life, we've done that our whole life, and when something's hard, we didn't give up. We worked at it. Let's do the other side. And that's why I know most of you have the discipline to push yourself to get better at something. Because I'm certain that all of you are successes at something in your life, and you had to work hard at it. And now let's go back. Ready? Feet wider. This is going to be a little harder. It's going to be tricky. Lift your toe up and rotate in and back out. Some of you might notice that this is harder. These muscles tend to get stretched out and weak. And then we walk with our toes pointing to the outside. So this little exercise is very helpful. And one more. Is everybody feeling the inner thigh muscle kind of getting tight and the stretch on the outside of the leg here towards the hip? All right, let's do the other side. You can hold onto your chair. Sometimes that's helpful. And back. And I like to look at my foot to see what my range of motion is, but if you want to keep your posture lifted, you can also do that. If you're confident with the range of motion that you have, and you don't need to look at your foot to see if it's doing what you want. One more. And back. All right, now, power step is the one exercise that comes from a feet together position. And it's because we want to separate the feet apart and we want to bring them back together. Now, I know that that can be difficult at times, but we want to try to focus on bringing them back together. The arms are going to look like this. The first position is one. The arms go out, but we look in the direction that our leg is going to go. So look over to the left, and then come down and open and look over to the right. Okay? Now, why did we do this in the beginning? Because when we step out to the right this time, the toe is going to point to the right. When we bring it back, it's going to point forward. When we bring the toe out to the right, it's going to point to the right. When we bring it back, it's going to point forward. And yes, I'm stomping because I'm creating energy and blood flow on the bottom of my feet by creating a little stamp and a little sort of energy that comes back into my foot. All right, so let's put it together nice and slow. Hands on the knees, sit up tall. There you go, good. Can anybody lift up taller through here? Yeah, there we go. Ready, come down, lift up, and take it out to the left. Good, bring the foot back, down, up, out to the right. Bring it back. Let's do two more slow. To the left. One more, down, up, to the right. Come back to the center. If you're having trouble getting your foot back, stay in that timing. And if it only comes back to here, move it back as much as you can, preferably not as drag, preferably another lift, okay? Let's give it a try. Let's do 6 of them, alternating sides. Actually, let's do the right side 4 times and the left side 4 times to see if we increase range of motion or decrease range of motion over the course of the 4. All right, here we go. So come on down. We have 1. Let's go to the right first. And out. 2. And out. 3. And out. Good. 4. Big arms. And out. Good. Now let's switch. Down. And 1. And 4. 2. And 4. 3. And last one for 4. And come back. Let's come up to a power up. Lift, tall, long body. And awesome. All right. We're going to take a water break. Water breaks are important. Breaks and rest are important because they help you rest and build up that next level of stamina. Keep going. So let's grab a drink. After the drink, I'd like to see if you guys can do 10 power-ups with a stand-up. And if you're not going to be standing up today or using your hands to push you up from the chair, which is totally fine, because this is about what works for you, what keeps you safe. You'll do 10 sit-and stands, either from a seated to a standing or seated to a lifted position. And then we're going to stay standing or stay lifted in your seat. All right? So I'm going to come and take a peek at the screen. Good job. Awesome, Wendy. There you go. Stretch those arms out. Beautiful. Good job, Clyde. You're coming up real quick. I don't know who that is on Mary's iPad, but good job. Way to go, everybody. Don't be afraid to move and do the exercises. It's going to help you more to do them even on a small level than to not do them at all. Awesome. Good job, Phyllis. All right. So we're going to come from a standing position. I hope everybody has their beverage with them. 2 things that I always encourage people to have are a drink and I do have water in here, believe it or not, a drink and the proper shoes. A lot of people, because of virtual fitness, come in with bare feet or slippers. And we want to remember that if you went to a gym, you would wear the proper shoes and the clothing. So try to prepare the best that you can. That's going to give you the most realistic outcome and effectiveness from your program so that you can walk better, move better, and all that stuff. All right, here we go. So when we convert powered moves to a standing position, it can also be done from a lying position on your back or a lying position on your belly, which we're not going to see those today, but they're very important positions to work from. So a lot of times I coach my clients on these positions at the gym on a therapy bed, and they can go home and practice them in their own bed at home where they feel safe. So look down at your toes, whether you're seated or standing, and I want you to see whether or not they're parallel or if you have a slight turnout. If the knees are bent kind of softly and you kind of feel this heaviness pulling you down, or if the knees are straight and the legs are lengthened and you feel them tighten the glutes and tighten the quads, okay? So the thighs and the glutes, right? We have the hips here too, that we want to understand. Are they in the right line? Am I leaning forward? Am I leaning back? Right? So we want to get everything in that position from the ear to the ankle. Power up converts to the same way. This is a posture exercise. We're working on aligning our posture here. So on days when you're feeling heavy or forward or even to the side, this is the one that we want to go to. A lift and an extension, okay? So power up from a standing position. Ready? Here we go. Here's our start position. Stick your butt all the way out and lean down into it. Now as you lift up, your arms extend to the side long, your legs get long, and your body gets tall. Let's do 10 of these, lifting and lowering, counting back by threes from 30. Ready? Here we go. Down. And 30, 27. I'm not going to count now because I want you to remember the numbers. Good. Where are we? We should be at 12. That's it. 6 and 3 and 0. Give me a big lift, lengthened arms, open fingers, and release it down. Okay, before we go into the power rock, I want you to just rock side to side. I want you to imagine that you're holding a baby. It could be your grandchild, it could be your child, whatever memory you may have, right? Maybe even just a baby doll. And this feeling of rocking side to side, it's very gentle, warm feeling. All right, and as we rock side to side, are you picking up your heel? Are you feeling the baby toe and the outside of the foot when you shift your weight? Right, you might not be shifting your weight as much. You may be staying in the middle and feeling the heel and the inside of your big toe. Go a little further, just like we did when we were seated. Awesome, and come back. All right. Now, if we remember the power rock was about weight transferring. Weight transferring we do every day, and walking, getting up, getting down, moving from one place to another. The power rock is about shifting your weight all the way onto the outside of your foot to the baby toe, reaching up and stretching the body. The back arm reaches down, the front arm reaches up. We're going to come down for the transition. Spring up to the right side, legs straighten, arms straighten, right arm is reaching up, left arm is reaching down. Come back to the center and give me a power up. So as you can see, I'm not leaving any part of your body untouched. Everything is working. We're coming down, we're coming up, we're rotating, we're stretching both arms, we've reached and twisted our body, and as we come back down, and we come right up, we do the same thing again. And every piece of energy is floating out through our fingertips. All right, come back to the center. So let's do it with counts so that we don't miss anything. All right, so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Come down 1, 2, 3, 4. Come down 1, twist 2. Reach up 3, 4. Come down again and twist. Reach up 3, 4. Let's go down. Up and down. Up. So we just took it to a half time and we made it a little faster. But don't let it get smaller. Reach those arms up. And right side. If you're seated, you can do the same thing we did last time. Take every moment to check yourself. Move, reach, stretch. One more is a lift and back to our center. All right, let's get another drink because we should be getting out of breath with that one. All right. So the markers for making sure that you're working out hard enough aren't how high your heart rate got, aren't how many calories you burned, but how do you feel? Do you feel like you're working? Is your body getting warmer? Did your heart rate or your breath change even in the slightest bit? Do you feel like you're sweating a little bit? All of those markers are your benchmarks for whether or not you're working hard enough. Because if you're getting out of breath, then that's where your high intensity is being found. All right? So that goes back to that question. How hard do we have to work? How much do we have to do? It's about doing what makes you feel good and feeling results and then working up towards more. As long as you're comfortable and safe. Let's bring those feet together. And now I want you to take a little wider step out than your hips. And if you're seated, you're going to do the same thing. Take your feet a little wider. And this is about your power twist, your rotation in the waist. Okay, so arms out. Now, before we do the whole body, I want you to lift up and turn your hips right and left. Now, you have to do that by lifting your heel. So there's going to be a moment that you're only on one foot, and the weight, again, is going to the outside of your toe. All right? I'm going to teach you something in this movement that's really important, because a lot of times people get dizzy in this one. And it's because they forget about the middle, okay? So we're going to count nice and loud. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? 1 is going to be here. We're going to twist to the left. 2 is going to be here. 1 is in the middle. 2 is the twist. 1 is the middle. 2 is the twist. 1 in the middle. 2 in the twist. Again in the middle. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. One more. 1, 2, and come back to the middle. Okay, so the middle was important because that's where we found our refocus. It's where we reset. It's where we found our balance, our position again. If it started to become like this, there's no boundaries around it for balance, for focus. So it's like a dancer that does 20 pirouettes. How do they do that without getting dizzy? Because they spot, they have a center, a focus that they come back to every time that helps them also stay balanced. So that's where that comes from. Let's take your feet together. This is your power step, right? Seated or standing, same thing. We're going to sit to the front edge of our seat. The toe is going to turn out as we go to the left. The toe is going to turn out as we go to the right. But the harder part of it is bringing the foot back together and the toe straight ahead. So more form and precision rather than speed. Let's try it. Ready? We have a tiny bend here in the middle. We're going to take a big step out to the left. Is your toe facing the left? Push off, come back to the middle. Ready? Let's do it to the right. Toe turns to the right. Now bend the knee, push off to the middle. Okay, so there's something happening there. We're stepping out, but we have to push back. So use the leg as a spring to push you back in the middle. Arms, let's put it together. I'm a dancer. I do legs first and then arms. Ready? Here we go. Legs bend. Let's take it out to the left and in. Don't forget about the arm in the direction that you're not moving into. It should be lifted high behind you with a big wide open hand. Ready? Let's do 10 of these nice and quick. Here we go. And a 1, bend the middle. 2, bend in the middle. 3, and in. If you need more time, take it. If you can move faster, go for it. Ready? Here we go. We have 4 more. We've got 1 and back. 2, push off. 3, and the middle. Last 1, back to the center. Give me power up. Yes, we always want to finish here. And let it down. Good. Separate the feet. Let's roll the shoulders back big. And 2, 1 more. Take a bend, big inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Look over to the left. And look over to the right. Come back to your middle. Great job. So let's talk, right? Let's unmute. Let's talk about what we just learned, everything we just did, and see if you guys have any questions. I think we left plenty of time, yeah.
There was a question about what happens if you've got shoulder pain.
Okay, so that is such a good question. So shoulder pain, I guess I probably have at least 3 dozen people in my network, at least, with shoulder issues. And what we do is we modify. So if a shoulder press hurts here, we try to go to a place where it doesn't hurt, because we want to have extension. We want to be able to reach that arm out, right? Sometimes we can't reach it up. Sometimes it can't go on a diagonal. So if it hurts, modify the movement until it doesn't. And if you can't find a place where that shoulder doesn't bother you, I would see a physical therapist again, and then work with your fitness trainer on the motions that do feel good, just so that your range of motion and your flexibility doesn't freeze. I think that's probably my best advice for you.
You did also mention about it was harder when we had to name things as we're doing. Part of it is also you chose a category I'm not best at, which is vegetables, but
Yeah, that goes back to our childhood books. So, that's normal, and that happens a lot when we're moving. We're so focused on the movement and what we're doing, and then we're being asked to think of things in categories and come up quick, spur of the moment. These games are great for your brain, for cognitive quickness and thinking. And if that's a challenge for you, I encourage you to jump on some of the websites like Brain HQ, or some of the other websites that you can do some cognitive games and things to, kind of get that thinking pattern moving more quickly. And be patient with yourself. If you're doing this exercise here, and I'm asking you to do fruits and vegetables, maybe do them slower and you say them at different times. And that's all right. That's okay, as long as you're working on it. That's wonderful.
can you talk about that fine line between stretching and hurting? Because I do feel like sometimes it is almost like you do need to power through something because, no pun intended, because you haven't used those muscles. but then you also don't want to strain something or pull something.
Yeah. So, as a dancer, that's a hard one for me because dancers generally go beyond their stretch level because they like to feel the pain. As I've gotten older, I've realized that you have to you have to walk that line to prevent injury. We're not as flexible as we were when we were younger. We don't move as quickly as we were when we were younger. And we have to learn our new bodies and kind of almost embrace this new place that we're at. So when it doesn't feel good, it's telling you something. When it's painful, it's saying, this is not the right space for me to be in. So that's when you draw back a little bit and you find that line that you're walking that's right. If it's still painful, we need to see somebody. We need to see a doctor or see somebody and get some scans and make sure that we don't have an injury or a strain that needs attention. And that's what I really am most concerned about as a fitness instructor. I'm not qualified to do evaluations on a client's body to assess an injury. I can guess and I might be able to know what it is through experience of seeing it a million times. But again, we want a clinical specialist to give you the proper diagnosis and the proper healing recommendations so that you can get back to the gym in a safe place and know the things that we need to be modifying and be careful with. So,
And then
yeah.
a lot of the exercises you showed us, I could see the functional in it that you're like, do the roll. And I was like, oh, like that would be a good way to start rolling out of bed. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like what you're doing, kind of like this will help you get out of a chair. Mm-hmm.
So when we're going to get out of a chair specifically, like say we're going to go in that direction, many times I have people who will lift themselves up from here, right? And maybe this left foot is not participating in the moment. So they just immediately go with that right foot, and the crossover in the legs causes us to have this imbalance or this feeling like we're gonna fall. So we want to pause a lot. I want people to slow down, be more mindful, especially in their transitions, especially if there's any freezing. If we stand up and we're going to go in this direction, first leg that we want to turn is this one. If it's not participating, slow down, take a break, sing row your boat, whatever you need to do. Start to rock, shift weight, and be patient to wait for that foot to move in that direction. It's the same thing when you're getting out of the car, right? We open the door. We would never try to get this leg out of the car first if this door opened. So it's the same kind of concept. We're going to start to turn to the open door. That foot's going to face that position. You may even step out with this foot first and then bring this foot to meet it, right? Or maybe you'll turn completely, put both feet on the floor and get out to face the direction. But this is about where am I going? How do I want to move safely to achieve that transition? And it's the same thing with rolling out of the bed. When we do the exercises from a bed position, it teaches us how to push off our heel and roll to the side. So when we were doing these exercises where we were using our feet, that's how we move and roll from a bed. We use our feet too. Does anybody try to roll over in bed and not use their legs and feet? It's almost impossible to try to get your body to move. When we push off of our heel a little bit in the bed, we have a little bit more ability to move and rotate. So I would absolutely encourage you to join the platform on Mission PD. I have several videos on power moves that you can practice all of these from all the different positions. So it'd make a lot more sense in understanding the rollover stuff too.
Can these movement sequences help loosen up or help with freezing?
I love this question, Bob. Where are you? There you are. So I'm going to say, one time I was listening to a webinar and I heard a doctor say that freezing is the most obnoxious symptom of Parkinson's. And I just thought that that was the best way to describe it because it's so obnoxious. It's like that rude, obnoxious symptom that is so frustrating. We don't have a lot of medications and a lot of treatments and a lot of exercises that do help. I do think that some of these exercises do help. I also think that this past week we've been really focusing on this in Mission PD, and we have been doing specific exercises that help with freezing and walking and kind of disseminating our walking pattern and understanding the responsibility of the front foot and the back foot and why sometimes we start freezing is because our legs start to get weak and we don't have the ability to really move them. They also get heavy, could be possibly from medication, and they'll also from advancement and progression of Parkinson's. But these are all speculated reasons as to why we freeze. I don't think that they know why we freeze. I think that there are a lot of doctors doing research. I know that Dr. Cahigas at Penn Medicine actually does DBS on some people who are having freezing in a different part of the brain, which is a very new procedure. So if you're interested in learning more about it, reach out to Dr. Cahigas at Penn. But it is one of the things that we were most challenged by, and it can be very frustrating. So I'm happy to work with you on it, Bob. Feel free to reach out to me. It's one of the most challenging symptoms that I love to work on.
Then I got a question. And I too suffer from carpal tunnel. The movements that cause me to open and close in the hands or stretch don't hurt when working out, but the next day it's very painful.
So this is funny. I'm going to go on a wild goose chase with this one. But my mother-in-law was just diagnosed with carpal tunnel, and they wanted her to have surgery. And then she had a unexpected gallbladder attack and had to have surgery for her gallbladder. And now she's saying, I don't know that I want to have surgery on my carpal tunnel. I don't know that I want to have surgery again. My father had something like this, and he wore hand splints for quite a long time, for about a year. He wore them to sleep. He wore them during the day when his hands started to cramp up and get tight. And it really helped him. And his carpal tunnel tended to go away, but he had to be very diligent about it and do it for a long time. So I'm not surprised, especially if after you exercise your hands and then go to sleep, when you wake up, a lot of times our hands get very tight when we sleep. So when we wake up, opening them up is very hard. So that's why my dad used to sleep with these. I forget, they're on Amazon. Some doctor created them, and they're just finger splints that keep your fingers open through the evening so that they don't get tight with I think it's called a contracture in the hands. So I wish I had a better answer for that one, but you might want to see hand specialist.
But what about though, as far as like you were saying about the pain in exercise, where it's like it doesn't hurt when you exercise, but then the next day. So then it's like, well, how do you handle that? Do you kind of say, ooh, I need to take a step back because this is causing pain? Or you're like, I was okay during the day. Maybe the next day means I'm, you know,
So I know what you're
good.
saying.
Kind of like when I do a
Yeah.
lot of ab work and then the next day I'm like, oh, that was painful.
Yeah, you have to decide, did I overdo it? Did I
Mhm.
do too much? Or is there something going on?
Yeah.
Right? Did I do too much? Or is something else going on that my body isn't accepting the movement because I have an injury or something else going on that I need to investigate? If this is new, if you used to be okay doing it and now it's new, there
Mhm.
could be something else going on. So, again, you want to feel good after exercise. If you overdo it or there's an injury and then it aggravates it, then we need to investigate that.
We have a question. Can freestanding squats be modified into steps?
Oh, like a 1, 2, 3, 4?
I guess.
Yeah. So it depends on how quickly you want to move. Okay. I always say keep a chair behind you. Because if your chair is behind you, you're going to touch the back of your thighs. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can bend less. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you come up, you want to tighten your quads and tighten your glutes so that your hips aren't still back here. Okay, we want to bring that in line. It can be faster. 1, 2. But the most important part of your squat and your push-up is not the bend part. The bend part's the easy part. The bend part's the easy part. It's the push-up part or the stand-up part, right? That's the part that we want to work on the most. Most people end up doing the squats and then they start to look like this. They go down and the knees come up less and less. Go down less, come up more. Come up more. Right? I hope that answered that question.
We are almost out of time, so I do want to remind people because we put a lot of links in the chat today to save your chat. If you look at your chat open, it should say Power Moves, Exercise for Brain Change, and there should be 3 dots. If you hover over it, click on More, and that's how you save your chat, because I do want you to go check out Mission PD's website. A lot of great information, a lot of resources, classes. And also just Stacey's awesome to connect with. So you definitely want to do that. We have a tradition here at PMD Alliance, our wave of gratitude. Thank you to everybody for being here today and joining us. And thank you for Stacey for coming back. It's your anniversary weekend and you're still
Awesome.
hanging out with us.
Yeah, move beyond your limitations. Explore the possibilities. You guys can do more than you think that you can.
Thank you, Stacey. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye, everyone.